So I think the thing that could be tricky about these sorts of questions, these limiting reagent questions, is when the molar ratio between the reactants to products is not 1-to-1, which is the case with this particular question. So the trick to doing these is you've actually got to work out the moles of each reactant and then see which one generates the smallest number of moles for the product. And then that is going to be your limiting reagent. So that's the trick to doing these. So make sure you got your calculator at hand, and let's get into it. So we've got 2.3 grams of sodium and 2.85 of the fluorine. So I'm going to write along the left hand side moles, and going to work out the moles of sodium first of all, which would be 2.3 divided by its RFM, which is 23, gives 0.1. And you notice when I just worked out the moles of sodium, I did not include that number. You never include the balancing number. When you're working out moles for reactants or products, it's always just one equivalent. So one sodium, one lot of sodium is 23. Now let's do the same for the fluorine. Now fluorine is diatomic, so it goes around in nature as F2, not F. So it'll be 2.85 divided by 19 times 2, and that gives, so we have 0.1 moles of sodium and 0.075 moles of fluorine. So what we've got to do next is see how much product would be made from each one of those reactants individually. So in other words, how much sodium fluoride would be generated from that number, and then how much will be generated from that number. And the smallest value is the one that we take as the limiting reagent. Okay, so let's look at the sodium first of all, and you can see the molar ratio of sodium to sodium fluoride is 2-to-2, which is the same as 1-to-1. So therefore, the number of moles of sodium fluoride that would be made would be 0.1. Now, if we look at fluorine, you can see the molar ratio is 1-to-2. So that means 0.075 moles of fluorine would generate twice as much sodium fluoride, which would be 0.075 times 2 would be 0.15. Now let's look at those two numbers. You can see that sodium produces 0.1 moles of sodium fluoride, and then fluorine produces 0.15 moles. So therefore, the smallest number of moles is that number. So therefore, we can conclude that the limiting reagent must be sodium, which means the fluorine is in excess. Finally, we can work out the actual mass of product made. So therefore, moles of NaF produced would be 0.1. Mass equals moles times RFM. So it'll be 0.1 times RFM of sodium fluoride is 23 plus 1 fluorine, which is 19. And again, I have ignored this number there because that is the molar ratio number. Once you've considered the molar ratio on the step that I've just done, you don't use it again. It's just one equivalent when using these moles formulas. So that'll be 0.1 times 23 plus 19 gives us 42. So therefore, the mass will be 0.1 times 42 will be 4.2 grams of sodium fluoride made.